This is your behind-the-scenes look at Wrigley Field for a college football game. Right now we're going down these stairs leading from the visiting clubhouse for a baseball team or the visiting locker room for a football team. And we're headed down towards the field. We're underneath the first base side of Wrigley Field. The first thing we're going to go through here is the batting cages. This is where the visiting team has batting cages underneath the stadium, underneath the first base side stands. Obviously right now it's set up for some pregame workouts for Ohio State. We'll head up the tunnel here. And this leads you right into the first base dugout. Got the little back row of the bench here. And then the front row of the bench sitting up a little higher. This is where you'd have bats and batting helmets during the game, phones and all that. There's the front row, the bench, and first base side of Wrigley Field. This is the side that Ohio State is on. Above the scoreboard. The scoreboard has a bunch of college football scores on it today. Above the scoreboard, they're flying flags for USA, Northwestern, and it looks like the Cubs. All right, so there's a dugout. I'm gonna walk you right up on the field here, and we're gonna go left to right. We're gonna go behind home plate, the home plate area, and we'll go all the way around. We'll end up in the outfield. Give you a full look at everything that's going on here today. So now we're just walking on the track here, behind home plate. Plenty of look up at the seats there. If you hear music in the background, that is the Northwestern band starting to warm up already. They're on the field, starting to tune up for the game. Now this is right now behind home plate. This is directly behind home plate. You can see where the cutout is, where the dirt would normally be. And to give you a real close look here, there's just a little gap of dirt there. It really does look pretty good. There's just a little bit of a seam. It's not anything that's going to be a trip hazard or anything, but you can see that's where the grass, that little half circle, that's where the grass for a baseball game ends and the dirt for a baseball game starts. Obviously all grass today. They have grass going around here. This is all grass on what would normally be the warning track here behind home plate. You also notice there is no third base dugout. The Cubs' normal home dugout on the third base side, that is not there today. That is it's all closed up to keep everyone safe so that no one falls in there. Again, here's a look at the corner of the end zone. This is one of the spots where the stands kind of juts out a little bit. You got like 4 feet of white space and then another probably 3-ish feet of grass before you'd even get to the corner, and that corner is padded pretty well. That's the corner there. Walk you across the end zone here. Give you a look out at the field as well. Again, the Northwestern band out there warming up right now. So here's the goalposts on the west side of the stadium, left side if you're watching on TV. And there's not a ton of room here. This is another spot where the stands kind of come out a little bit. You got, again, 4 feet of white, and this is probably about 5 feet of grass before you get to these stands. They're here. You've got the field goal net as well, goal post right here. So this is an area where guys are probably used to looking out for obstacles. We've got another area where photographers are going to be working. That's where that dash line is. Photographers can be on their knees behind that dash line during the game. That's what that line is. And then you get into the corner here, again, it gets a little closer anyway. There's a spot in the corner here where, again, you get 4 feet of white and then a foot or 2 of grass here, but enough space. This is a spot where I think a lot of people were looking at this and thinking, boy, this looks like a weird spot. This is where the stands kind of jut out. But when the stands jut out, I'm going to spin you back around the other way. You've got, again, 4 feet or so of white space, and then another 4 or 5 feet of space before you get to that dash line, and then another couple of feet there. So that is really not very close to the playing field. One thing that there was some concern about was, is there a wrinkle in the field? Is there a little bit of a lip? You can see a little bit of a lip if you look very carefully. I'm going to zoom in and see if we can get you a little closer look. I don't want us walking out on the field. You can see there's just a little bit of a line there, a wrinkle kind of just on this side of the hash mark. I think that's just the back of the infield, the back lip of the infield, where it then turns into the outfield grass. It does not look like it's a huge issue. Just a little bit of a seam there in the grass, maybe. So, all right, pop you back out so you can get a wide look again. Now we're on the Northwestern sideline. They're on the north side of the stadium because it's November, and in Chicago, you would prefer to have the sun on you a little bit more. So the sun will, if it is sun today, it will be shining on the Northwestern Wildcats on their sideline, and the Buckeyes will probably be in the shade for most or all of the game. Right now they've got the outfield set up for Northwestern to stretch and do their workouts and all that kind of stuff out in the left field section. And we're looking up at the left field bleachers. Scoreboard, the new electronic scoreboard, and then the old-fashioned scoreboard, hand-operated. Try and get up there a little bit later and see if we can get you a look inside that as well. There's a look around the stadium right now. And I know you're all screaming, hey, go look at the outfield wall. Don't worry, we'll get there. We're gonna head over there right now. This open door here, this is the door. One of these is gonna be the door to the Cubs bullpen. I believe this is it right here. And the Cubs bullpen is where Northwestern has a bunch of their stuff, much like Ohio State had a bunch of stuff in the visiting team batting cages. There's a little bit of a room in here. The home bullpen is actually being used by the photographers as a work area. So this is just a look inside here for you. Yeah, there's your Cubs bullpen. You can see the home plates on the turf down there. You might remember, if you're old enough, the bullpens used to be on the field here down the left and right field lines. They got rid of those during one of the recent renovations. So there's the Cubs bullpen. One more little look around here. And then we'll head back out those doors and out to the field. This is actually kind of interesting. The Cubs bullpen is just on the other side of the door from, this is a walkway where you'll see people, fans here. There's concession stands and all that kind of stuff. So fans are just on the other side of the door away from the bullpens here, which is kind of interesting. Door marked with authorized personnel, so that apparently is sufficient to keep everyone safe. There's the stairs up to the bleachers up there. Try and go up there in a little bit. So now we're gonna head back out to the field. And we're out on the warning track in left center field. Just to give you a little sense for where we are. There's the stadium again. Looking around. And here's the famous wall and the famous ivy. Up there you see the basket that the home runs fall into during games. Here's the wall and the ivy. So I'm gonna give you a look at here's the brick back here. I'm gonna pull the ivy back a little bit so you can see right back there, just a little ways back. The ivy does not provide any real padding, in case you were wondering. Ivy, of course, turning red now because it is no longer summer in Chicago by any means. The ivy is it's really just a couple inches, and if you hit that ivy, you're gonna stop pretty quick. So that ivy, if you're a Cubs outfielder, you want to heed that warning track that's right up here. It is warning you, hey, that wall is hard and the ivy's not going to give you a lot of padding. So there's the ivy. We're coming out to dead center field here. This is where you've got the 400-foot marker in center field. And we'll pan up for you. Give you a look up at that scoreboard up in center field. Again, laid out for a football game today, and Big Ten football and not National and American League baseball. Kind of cool to see the scoreboard set up in a very different kind of way than normal. Again, we'll take you down, give you one more look at the wall, just so you can sort of see the 400-foot sign there. You can really tell there is not a lot of ivy around there. There's not a lot of padding there. Right here is about as thick as it gets, and that's only probably 3 inches or so, and it's just, I'm gonna push on it here. It just doesn't have a lot of give. So yeah, that's not gonna protect you. Fortunately, they do have a pretty creative solution for protecting players from that wall over where the football field is. So here we go. Here's the edge of the football field. I'm gonna give you a look behind here, because see where the football field is, they have padding. Padding is pretty thick. Probably 3-4 inches of padding there. And it's, you know, like the pads from gym class or whatever. These are pretty heavy. Like these are heavy. They're also connected. I'll give you a look behind here at the gap between the padding and the wall here. You can really see that there is some space. It's at least a foot or two. And these are big, heavy pads, and it looks like they're kind of connected as well. So if you hit one, you're gonna be moving maybe more than one of them, and that's gonna really slow you down before you actually get to that wall. That's the biggest thing. You're not running face first into a brick wall there. You're hitting those pads, and those are gonna slow you down quite a bit. Now that's important because there is not as much space back here as there is on the other side of the field. You notice there's no more dashed line here. I'll back up a little. You can see the dash line is on the sideline because there's plenty of room for photographers on the sideline. But behind the end zone here, there's no dash line because there is no room for photographers. You got the 4 feet of white space at the back of the end zone, and then just a couple more feet. So it's probably like 6 feet or so from the back of the end zone, maybe 7 feet from the back of the end zone to that padding. But that's why that padding is there, because it is a heavy brick wall, hard brick wall right behind there. But that padding keeps you from hitting it. And I mean, I'm just gonna give it a shove here. You can shove it, but it doesn't really swing much. You really do kind of hit that padding and you're not gonna hit that wall. So here's the goalpost. Right past the goalpost, right past that goalpost is where the outfield wall kind of takes that turn, curves back out. There's kind of that famous well in right field in Wrigley Field. So then all of a sudden, look down, there's that photographer line again. So there is room there for photographers here. You got TV cameras. Had people asking on our video on Friday, is that a normal distance for TV cameras? Yeah, that is an extremely normal distance. There are cameras that close or maybe closer to the field at Ohio Stadium. That's extremely normal pretty much everywhere you go. One thing I want to give you a look at up here is, you see that basket? The basket where if a ball falls in there during a baseball game, it's a home run. What they have is they have the padding attached to the basket up there. I'll zoom in a little bit, give you a closer look. But you can see it's attached to the basket. So what that does is that allows it to swing, and it also allows it to be separate from the wall. When I showed up here, my assumption was it was just kind of attached to the wall. It's not, it's actually out. So there's even a little more give than you might think there. So now we're back out in the right field corner. Give you a look at the foul pole up here. And then we'll wrap this up for you. Here's the right field corner. Again, this is a spot where you've got a ton of space behind the outfield here, or behind the end zone here. You've got 4 feet white, you got another 4 or 5 feet before the dash line, and you get another probably 8 feet before you get there, and then you got the padding, and then you got the wall. So plenty of space over here. But yeah, here you go. Here's another spot you can see behind the padding. Let's look. There's the measurement on the right field line. 353 feet down the right field line here at Wrigley Field. So that's that. Pull back and give you a look up the right field foul pole. There you go. There's the right field foul ball in Wrigley Field. We'll spin you back around. Thank you guys all for watching. Hopefully you guys found this informative, found this useful, found this entertaining. Very cool setup here. They have given a lot of thought to keeping players safe, making this a good, safe place to play football. So the Buckeyes and Wildcats will kick off at noon today on Big Ten Network. We will see you after the game. Make sure you hit the thumbs up on this video if you liked it. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, youtube.com/BuckeyeHuddle. Hit that bell so you get notified when we do more different, interesting, behind-the-scenes content for you here on YouTube. And check us out at BuckeyeHuddle.com. Thanks for watching.